The director of Spider-Man Brand New Day has shared our pretty much first info in regards to the film, and this is what inspired the film and the title. And yeah, one, it's the comic, but there's something significant he says here that might actually be a big hint as to what we can expect in the film, and even who maybe Sadie Sink is playing. So obviously the title Spider-Man Brand New Day is familiar to fans of the comics, as it has a rather meaningful, meaning. Obviously, there's the story that plays out with Spider-Man One More Day, in which Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson, that marriage is dissolved to save Aunt May, and that whole story and how it goes just turned a lot of people off around this time to Spider-Man comics. Now, in Brand New Day, Spider-Man is single, he's a bit broken and lost, and he's really trying to figure things out, let's put it that way. Now again, the reason I'm not going into depth on this is because it's pointless to do so, because they're clearly doing what they've always done. They're taking a name and maybe the general premise, if that, and they're just doing something new with it. That's always what's going to happen. But per The Wrap and a CinemaCon report that they posted, this is what they said, and I quote, "Director Dustin Daniel Cretton revealed the title by telling a story about how his one-year-old son first word was Spider-Man, something that happened when the infant pointed at a cover of the comic Spider-Man Most Wanted," end quote. So first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about Spider-Man Most Wanted, which was Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. That was the run that it was a part of. And this story deals with the Tinkerer returning back into the fold and aligning himself up with a bunch of people that he makes things for and sends them after Peter Parker. Now, this story involves characters like Black Panther T'Challa, Hawkeye, J. Jonah Jameson, Betty Brant, Ironheart, Falcon, Vision, and Human Torch. Now, the bad guys in this story are Shocker, Beetle, Whiplash, Boomerang, Tinkerer, and I want to say I'm forgetting one. I believe it was Vulture, I want to say, but I could be off on that, so let me go fact check that. Yes, I was correct. Vulture was there as well. Okay, good. But the important part of this story is the fact that it brings in a rather important character into the fold that's really important to what we're going to talk about here. And that's the fact that Peter Parker's sister, Teresa Parker, is brought into the fold here a little bit more prominently than what most people were used to, I would say. And it deals with him being hunted by the authorities, while the Tinkerer is supplying the villains with weapons that can easily take down Spider-Man. Now, for those that don't remember, the Tinkerer is already in the MCU. He was in Homecoming, and his whereabouts are unknown. So what if we're kind of doing a greatest hits style thing, and they're going to bring him back and bring back a couple villains, maybe introduce a new one, and they're all out to hunt Spider-Man because, hey, maybe they all realized something's wrong with our memory, especially, for example, Vulture. You know? Like, there's already that connection there. Now, let's get into the whole Peter Parker sister angle. So, Teresa is a redhead, and a lot of people believe that Sadie's going to be playing her because that's her natural hair color. Again, this lines up. As I said when talking about the whole Sadie Sink casting, why would you cast her as like a Gwen Stacy, as people were speculating, where that doesn't make sense to me? You got literally a perfect substitute for either MJ or you're doing Teresa. Now, of course, we recently had reports from Jeff Snyder, for example. He confirmed she's playing MJ, but we don't really know. The thing here is that a lot of people are confusing things in relation to everything that's been revealed, so I want to go over something specifically. Spider-Man Brand New Day, One More Day, and Most Wanted are tangentially connected. Obviously, it's a story that progresses through Peter's life and everything gets back to it. But I think what they're doing here is using Brand New Day as just the naming scheme, because that's what it is. It's a brand new day for Spider-Man, a brand new day for Peter Parker in this world and what's going on. And I think they're definitely going to use that. Now, when you look at everything else that's going on with this whole plot and what they're doing, they could also pull in, for example, Jackpot. Yep, that silence. I needed to I need to give you that to brace yourself, because believe it or not, around this time, Jackpot was being pushed for whatever reason. Now, for people unaware, there's the MJ Jackpot, and then there's the other Jackpot that they leaned into. Hey, is this MJ? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And then at the end of the day, nope, it's not. But who knows which version they could use? For all we know, this could be a multiverse thing, and they could do something else, because remember, Sony still got a say, and well, you know, they announced years ago at this point, but Sony did announce that they're making a Jackpot film. So could this be them, again, doing their adjacent version of Spider-Man films? Because despite what they said that they're done, they came back and said, actually, we're not done with that. We're just gonna sort of reboot it and try it again. So maybe this is how they do it. So now we're left with quite a few questions, even more questions than we had before with just the title, after the director confirmed that that was one of his, obviously, comics that he was reading and looking at, that his son pointed out, and he figured he would mention that. He didn't have to mention that, but he distinctly did, which makes me think it's a hint towards what's coming. And then on the other side, now we have to brace ourselves, because believe me and you, all the scoopers over the next 4 weeks are going to have all the details. All the details, they're going to have them. Many of them will be literally what I talked about in this video, because, hey, it's in the comic. And many of them will just be fabricated for clicks. That's how it's going to work. So brace yourself for that. But obviously know that they're going to pull a couple things from the comics. This is a given. But don't expect the full story. Some people are also expecting that this is going to bring in Venom. I honestly don't see how, but hey, maybe. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will, and if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.